Special opportunity to publicly honor someone who means so much to you presents itself, and I'm so excited to do just that this evening. Though most of you know the awesome guy I get to call my dad, I want to take this chance to share with you some things you may not know about him that really make him who he is and make me proud to be his daughter. While doing so, I will invoke a few references from the Bible. That's because the first thing you should know about my father is that he is a man of God, and that has everything to do with the career we are here to celebrate this evening. Regardless of your religious affiliation, I think the values embodied in these verses can be appreciated by all. First, from Luke chapter 12, verse 48, the concept, to whom much is given, much is required. Dad did not always have much. For several years of his childhood, he was low on money and the primary caregiver of his mom, who had MS, and his little sister. Suffice it to say, if I ever start to complain about something, and his response begins with, "When I was a boy," I immediately know I should not have opened my mouth. Despite these circumstances, he was blessed with an excellent education which, coupled with his passion and hard work, allowed him to get to where he is today, namely, in a position to give back. And give back he does, every single day. And I don't just mean the countless hours he's always spent coaching the sports teams of his 4 kids, driving them back and forth to school and practices, or editing their essays until 1 in the morning. No, I mean what he does for the least of these. Jesus said that whatever we do for the least of our brothers and sisters, we do for him. He cited the examples of feeding the hungry, providing drink to the thirsty, inviting in the stranger, clothing those who need it, looking after the sick, and visiting those in prison. Dad really does these things and directly supports others who do these things every day through multiple aspects of his life. For one, he has been a part of the social concerns ministry at our church since its founding, which focuses on meeting the immediate needs of the less fortunate, providing anything from groceries to diapers to firewood to medical and dental care to help finding employment, and the list goes on. Of course, the other aspect is his job as a public defender. Isaiah 1:17 says, "Learn to do right, seek justice, defend the oppressed, take up the cause of the fatherless, plead the case of the widow." When I first came across this verse, public defenders immediately popped into my mind, seeking justice and defending the least popular and the neglected. There are many noble careers in the legal field, but being a public defender is one of the most challenging due to the generally misled social perception of why one would choose to do the job and what exactly the job entails. When I tell people I plan to potentially become a public defender, it is far from unusual for the response to be questions along the lines of, "Oh, so you want to get all the way through law school just to make no money?" The answer to that, of course, is that what you get out of your work as a public defender is much more fulfilling than just filling your wallet. The next and worst misconception is, "Isn't that the type of lawyer who defends only the worst people who can't get anyone else to take their case because they've committed the most heinous crimes? How could you do that?" Clearly, these questions are ignorant and are asked by those without an understanding of the actual work public defenders do or an appreciation for the 6th Amendment. The 6th Amendment of the Constitution guarantees all accused people the assistance of counsel for their defense. This would not be possible without public defenders, and I've always very much looked up to my dad and all public defenders for the career choice they have made to contribute to protecting this constitutional right of the people and seeking justice for all. Dad always emphasizes that in order to be a great public defender, sure, you have to have a sharp legal mind, but equally important is that you genuinely care about the people you represent and have an authentic passion for what you do. I will provide these 2 additional responses to the questions I mentioned based on what I've learned from Dad's work over the years. The first is a quotation by Robert F. Kennedy. "Few men are willing to brave the disapproval of their peers, the censure of their colleagues, the wrath of their society. Moral courage is a rarer commodity than bravery in battle or great intelligence. Yet it is the one essential, vital quality for those who seek to change a world that yields most painfully to change." This applies to public defenders, prosecutors, and everyone else. Perhaps not everyone will understand your calling, but if you strive to pursue justice and do right and good in all you do, then that's all you can do. And remember, all parts are needed for the whole to operate. The second response is by Atticus Finch. "You never really understand a person until you consider things from his point of view, until you climb into his skin and walk around it. I've loved this quotation for several years now, ever since I first read it, and I think it's important to remember to not jump to judgment about a defendant's or anyone else's situation, because, as I'm sure all lawyers everywhere can agree, there's always more to the story. I'd like you all to know that my dad is a humble man. He didn't know I'd be speaking today and might even be embarrassed that I shared this all with you. But, like I said at the beginning, this is a rare chance to get to publicly brag on such an amazing guy, so I really want to seize it. For those of you who don't know, getting to serve the least of these in the capacity of Chief Public Defender has been the pinnacle of Dad's career aspirations. Mr. Kerry has done such an incredible job for the 16th Circuit and the criminal justice system of South Carolina as a whole during his time in this position, and I know he has well prepared Dad to fill the role. I'll wrap up by saying that if this were my investiture, the first people I would want in attendance would be my parents. Unfortunately, that's not possible for him, but Dad, I want you to know that they are looking down on you, beaming with pride over all you've done to serve the people and fight for justice for all. Our family is so excited to support you in this next chapter of your career and see all you accomplish.